Yo, today I think I want to talk about letting the game developer pick the music for the game. Also a bit about modal mixture and quintal harmony. My name's Paul. I've been producing music for a very long time, and I wrote all the music for this base game, Rise of the Golden Idol, and a couple of the DLCs. And I thought maybe getting into this menu track would be a good idea today. So let's check it out. I think the first thing is, how do you let the developer pick? Well, the approach was pretty simple. I just sketched a few quick drafts, submitted those 3 drafts, and let them pick which one they wanted to be the menu for the game. That's a little different in the sense that a lot of times when you sit down and write music, you want to write a whole piece of music. You want to get all your sections sorted and then maybe start orchestrating out and then producing it and make it sound finished. But for a menu, the game developer is really primarily interested in just the first 10 seconds, because the truth is the player is just going to click play as soon as they can. They're not really wanting to check out the music right away. They want to play the game. So the focus is how it starts. So my approach here was get 3 tracks started and let the game developer pick which one is the best beginning for the game for them. So in this track, I had no idea. I just submitted about 30 seconds. I didn't know where I was going to go or anything. But I just wanted them to pick it. So they picked this one, and which is a win because they liked one of the drafts. It wasn't, it's not bad that there was 2 other ones they didn't prefer as much. What would be discouraging is if I had worked all day on one track for the menu, submitted it, and then they're like, you got something else? That would be harder to deal with. This way, they had 3 options. I didn't have to produce, several minutes for each one. And it's just a good use of my time and their time. So that's how it happened. And you can reuse the discarded draft. So they can say, well, these other 2 drafts they didn't want, well, one of them for sure made it in the game later on in a different scenario. So that's how that happened. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about modal mixture. So this is going to be a little confusing, hopefully not too confusing, because the chief reason is I wrote this song in F-sharp major, which is a very not a friendly key. There's a lot of enharmonic issues in F-sharp major, but it's the key that felt right on the keyboard as I was writing. So that's where we are. So I'll try to make this clear and simple. And thankfully, I used it in a very common and, familiar way. So here's the beginning of this track. Okay, and that's what I submitted. I didn't even know anything else about where this track was going to go. I hadn't thought about it. I just was trying to get a start, get a good feeling. And so where modal mixture is happening is right at the beginning. Now in the key of F sharp, let me see if I can get my keyboard here. You have, I don't even know how many sharps that is. It's a lot. So in F sharp, the 6th chord that naturally occurs is a D sharp minor. 1 chord, minor 6th chord, right? So what I did was, it's very common, I borrowed from F sharp minor. F sharp minor 1, D major 6 chord. Yet, when we get to the F sharp, we play a major. So that's the most basic of modal mixture, borrowing from F sharp minor, yet our song is in F sharp major. So there's a chord coming from the minor key. So it starts right here on this 6 chord. It's a D major functioning as a 6. Now this pad is just root and fifth. The melody is telling you the chord qualities. We know this is a major chord because of the melody. And then it goes to a big 5 chord. Right there, that top note in the 5 chord, that's a 6th. That top note is in the violins, and then it goes down to a minor, D minor. So we go from C sharp, functioning as a 5, and F sharp, with a 6, to D minor. So we've had D major, F sharp major, D major, F sharp major, 5 chord, C sharp major to D minor. Now D minor is completely, it's not modal mixture. It's just at that point we're just playing around with the listener's sense of what's minor, what's major. We're just kind of, it sounds cool, it's powerful, it's ominous. We get half step motion right here. The top violins, sorry, let me get this keyboard. On the 5 chord, these violins are playing this high A sharp. The bass is on a C sharp. We get half step motion into that D minor. So very strong, the half step motion on the outside voices. So that's one way that modal mixture is being used right at the beginning. And I'm purposefully trying to make it not clear exactly what key we're in until we get to this 5 chord. And then throw the curveball of D minor. So that's that right there on the modal mixture. Other places that the modal mixture is happening is in this section here, once the bass comes in, we're kind of just have tonicized. Tonicizing means we're making it feel like the root, we're making it feel like the key of F sharp major. So at this point in the song, we just feel F sharp. Bass is pedaling low F sharp, and the melody is in F sharp. But we're going to switch melodically to F sharp minor temporarily. We're going to actually play the A natural. F sharp major, minor, and then it repeats. We're back in F sharp major, and then we're going to introduce F sharp minor again, pedaling down low on F sharp, minor. And then we get the big 6 chord D from F sharp minor. F sharp major is the chord that's played. Now honestly, the whole song could have ended right there. For a menu track, it didn't need to be any longer. It's already, almost 2 minutes probably. But at this time, I already knew about Tessa and the hippie commune, and that there was, some new age kind of vibe going on in the game from one faction, you could say. So I wanted to introduce that in the menu track, to touch on that. So that's where we get to this next section, this outro section. And that's where the quintal harmony comes in. So it's in the flutes and clarinets. Let me just play this section. Okay, so what is quintal harmony? Well, it's a phrase, like a lot of phrases in music terminology. It sounds really eloquent and sophisticated. It's really a pretty simple idea when you break it down. The trick is, can you apply it in an eloquent way? But it's not, it's not big rocket science. So stacked fifths, or quintal harmony, the way it's being done right here. Let's see if you can see my keyboard. Let me get this. Let me see if I can. There we go. This is the voicing that the flutes and clarinets are playing. And these are actually perfect fifths. Quintal harmony doesn't have to be perfect fifths. It could be diminished fifths or augmented fifths. But these are perfect fifths, and I was trying to retain perfect fifth relationships as much as possible. So here's a perfect fifth between G sharp and D sharp, and then D sharp and A sharp, and then A sharp and E sharp. And then it all moves down a step. So completely symmetrical motion there. Stacking fifths perfectly. And the mode that's being played, why is this mixed modes? Well, that isn't mixed modes. It's just F sharp major scale. You hear almost every note in that scale and those two voicings. But the next time we go, what do I play? That is, I'm still preserving perfect fifth relationships. We had totally symmetrical stacking fifths. Just went down one more step. Started here, and then it went another step down. Except for this voicing right here, it can't be F sharp major. It's really F sharp mixolydian. So the scale now is this: E natural, flat 7. Whereas a major scale would have the E sharp in the key of F sharp major. E natural makes it mixolydian, so that's how we get this sound. Major, mixolydian, so that's how we're mixing modes right there. And then towards the end, we then incorporate another mode based out of F sharp, which is F sharp Lydian. And that's right here. I think it's right there. Let me look at where. Yeah. Let me put in this pad so we can hear the root. Okay, so that voicing, let me switch keyboards again, sorry. Let's just take this off, I don't need that anymore. Now this is still Quintal harmony. Stack fifth, A sharp, E sharp, E sharp, B sharp. Okay, I'm not going to do it in harmonic. B flat, F, F, C, C, G sharp. Now a perfect fifth would be perfect fifth, perfect fifth, perfect fifth. However, over F sharp, that's a flat nine. It's very dissonant. Flat nine chords, altered ninth chords are super cool, but in this moment in the song, it doesn't sound good to me. So we had to make that G a G sharp. So we have this, and that's an augmented fifth. Perfect fifth. Sorry, perfect fifth, augmented fifth. That's augmented. So, and that becomes Lydian because we have a C natural or a B sharp technically. So remember our F sharp major scale sounded like this. Except for now we have a B sharp or C natural. That's Lydian mode. So we've gone from major to Mixolydian to Lydian. So we move through all those modes in F sharp. So that's how we're using Quintal harmony, stacking our fifths, and out of a desire to preserve perfect fifth relationships as much as possible, we have to change the mode to Mixolydian, and then later we use Lydian. Now, the cool thing about this Lydian thing is we have one more mixed mode thing that happens on the very end. This is all over F sharp. And it's been functioning as a one chord the whole time. But once we play Lydian, it can also function as a six chord. And that's exactly what it is doing. It's going to function as a six chord in over B flat. What I play over B flat minor, and the minor chord quality is coming from the melody. So this whole time we've been tonicizing F sharp major, and then at the very end it's serving a purpose as a six chord in B flat minor, or really it would be A sharp minor, and that Lydian kind of opens the door. The Lydian mode opens the door for that. Yeah, that's kind of what's going on. We're flipping our modes around, and we're turning, at the end we turned a one chord into a six chord so we could end on a minor to make it feel, still very mysterious and, a touch ominous. But I would say that just some final thoughts about this is, when you're writing music, I don't sit around going, oh, I want to mix all these modes and I want to do Quintal harmony, and I don't sit down going, I mean, sometimes to some extent I think I want to experiment with an idea, but I don't get too theoretical when I'm creating. To me, that's an hindrance. I can't really think in a creative way and have all this algebra going on in my brain at the same time. Doesn't flow as well. I just play and put down the things that sound best to me. It's only after the fact, when I'm making this video, that I need to analyze it, that I realized, well, I did major scale, Mixolydian, major scale, Lydian, and then it functioned as a six chord, turn the one into a six. It's only afterwards that I realized that's what I did. That's the truth of it. But having the knowledge can serve as sort of a blueprint in the background. It can help you solve little problems that you're having with your writing. It's like, okay, let me stop for a second. What mode am I in? What sounds best? There's no rules here. Just, do you like it? If you like it, it's cool. You don't have to follow You don't have to stay in the major key. So I think that's the heart of the idea, is, trying to keep the listener a little unsure of where we are throughout this song. And the modal mixture that I used, especially at the beginning, that's tried and true stuff. It's in so much pop music. I didn't reinvent the wheel on that, borrowing from the minor key, taking the 6th chord from a minor key and then coming back to 1 and making that major. That's very, very familiar, but it's strong. It feels, very powerful. Something's going to happen when you hear those chords. So it was useful. And I really appreciate your time. I hope it's helpful.